Okay, what's good?
Hello and welcome
Hey,
to episode 1 of Digitized Desperadoes. On today's Mexican standoff of media, we are talking about Pacific Rim and Lupin the Third, the Woman Called Fujiko Mine. I am
yeah,
your host, Mitch, and joining me are my co-hosts, Connor
hi.
and Max.
Hi, I'm Max.
Alrighty, we're doing it. We're doing it.
We are holding guns to each other's heads to watch some great pieces of media.
Well,
Indeed, we are.
yeah, maybe
So
not
I guess
everybody.
Alrighty.
great is subjective.
I mean, I like them this week, but
Hey,
I
hey,
mean,
hey.
theoretically speaking,
Hey,
it doesn't have
you
to be
talking shit
great.
about Pacific Rim?
No, I liked both of them this time, but what I'm saying
No, I'm
is,
talking to Connor because he's saying subjective.
oh, okay,
No, you
Um,
guys are going too quick. We gotta go slow.
all right.
Okay.
Gotta take it easy.
We're doing it. Let's start off with Pacific
It
Rim.
was Atlantic Rim, right?
Yes.
I think you might have
Okay.
watched the wrong movie.
Ah, again? I hate it when this happens.
What do you mean
Yeah.
again? This is the first time we're doing this.
Was it the Antarctic Rim? I don't know. Okay,
I think
Pacific
it was
Rim.
the Indian Rim.
That
I think we're
sounds
running out
worse
of
for some
oceans.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all of them. I think
Okay,
we
so-
did all the oceans.
Actually, isn't like one now called like the North Ocean or something like that?
I don't fucking know.
I don't think so.
I don't keep up with
I don't
ocean
fucking
naming.
remember.
Let's call up an oceanologist to figure out this joke once and for all.
Okay, anyways, back to the actual fucking movie.
Okay, so this
How
is
about that theme song?
this is a Guillermo.
Yes.
This is good old Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
Mitch,
Stop.
you're like a little
An
close to the
amazing,
mic, I'm gonna
what
say
a
right
great director.
Okay,
I love Shape of Water.
I mean that's not the movie.
But I'm saying a thing he also directed.
Okay, there
now.
was
I
an
liked
equal
his
amount of
work on
water.
Pan's
Pacific Rim is a
Labyrinth and
great
Hellboy.
movie.
Okay,
I love
so
this movie.
what did you guys all think? Besides
Love
Mitch,
it.
Max, what do you think?
I thought it was really good. Nobody told me that Charlie Day was in it playing a scientist. Honestly, you could take out the giant robots, and I would still have really liked this movie because of his character
You
alone.
know, I could probably watch a movie on Charlie Day's character and Ron Perlman's character just doing things. You know, I'd really
Yeah.
enjoy that.
No,
Yeah,
like
totally.
just imagine just an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie becomes a scientist, but he actually knows what he's talking about for some time.
Really competent at points.
Yeah,
Just a whole movie of just kaiju black market.
that would be amazing.
That could be really good. But
Are we
anyway,
gonna do spoilers or not? I'm just wondering.
yeah,
Well, I
totally.
mean, this is presuming the audience also has seen these things because they're watching along.
Or
Okay.
they don't
They
care.
can't
But
because
you
it's
should
episode
care
one.
because this was a great movie. It was really good.
So,
Yeah.
audience, if you
haven't seen this movie,
watch it now.
If you haven't seen
Go
this
watch
movie,
it.
pause this episode and then watch it, and then come back.
Go rent it. It's great.
Yeah, you can find
Okay.
it on YouTube for really cheap, and I think Amazon.
It's on the PlayStation Store. That's where I rented it.
Really, wow.
Oh, okay, really? Yeah. I just did YouTube.
That works too.
I
Okay.
did Amazon.
So spoilers. Now, I like a lot of things about this movie. I think visually, no complaints. It's a beautiful movie.
I really like the way that
Absolutely.
they did a lot of like. They combined a lot of practical effects with the special effects. Like,
Oh, definitely.
weren't the
When
Jaegers
they're
like
aiming- when
real
it's the
or something like
shots
that?
The pilots in the Jaeger, that is all practical. That was an
Yeah.
actual set.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I think this movie is very obvious in what influenced it, but it
Mhm.
doesn't like take too much. It's very obviously like, oh, it's a kaiju movie. It's also a mech movie. But the kaiju part was perfect. It played with scale so perfectly that it just,
Mhm.
even though a lot
yeah.
of it's CGI, it looks like the original Godzilla and stuff like that. It looks great.
I think one of them moves
the
exactly
things have
like King
actual weight
Kong
to
at
them.
first
It's
scene.
great.
And I'm pretty sure there's like a part where the kaiju is like climbing a building, and it's got his hands around it, and it looks exactly like something right out of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Evangelion.
Yeah, oh yeah, even absolutely. And there's like stuff that like it's just so good. Like the weight of the monsters and the Jaegers is so clear. Like they took the time to make sure you know that these things are heavy and they're physical, and it's like they actually exist.
Yeah.
I really loved the scenes at the beginning where you get these panning shots. It almost feels like a newsreel. You get these panning shots of these just devastated landscapes with these giant monsters and giant robots, and they're all so huge, so much bigger than the humans. Just adds the sense of like intensity that the world is coming to an end. It's amazing.
Yeah, I like the part at the beginning where shit, what's the main character's name?
Riley.
Yeah, where he's coming out of the robot after he lost his friend.
Oh my god, yeah.
And the guy saves him. He's like directly coming out of the side of the robot, and that really I think gives you a good sense of scale right at the beginning of how big they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the whole first 20-30 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, it takes
I like the whole thing.
I kept track. From the beginning of the movie to when the first the title card actually appears is 17 minutes.
That's in my opinion the best part of the movie. It's so good. I'm not saying the rest of it is bad, but that's the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The whole black market thing where it was just obviously like a direct reference to Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell at the same time.
Oh yeah, big neon lit city stuff going on.
I mean, heck, the black market guy,
Hannibal Chow.
Yeah, he has like the fucking sunglasses, and he looks exactly like the dude from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. What should we get to next? The characters are all good. I think some of them are a little. I think how I would describe this movie is a Western Evangelion. I think that's how I would.
And everybody's happy.
That's fair.
Yeah,
there's a lot less depression in this.
The main characters are all pretty confident and they get through a lot of stuff, but they have their moments of like with the drifting, which drifting is just fascinating.
It's such a fucking sick concept.
Drifting.
Drifting.
It's not like interfacing. It's not like connecting. No, they're drifting. Yeah.
Radical.
You gotta put it in reverse or whatever. You gotta put it in neutral, destroy your transmission, and then you drift with the giant kaiju.
Yeah.
That's the next Initial D season.
Charlie Day just hooks his mind up to a car and he just starts drifting.
I understand the car now.
I understand what it's feeling. Wheels. It must go fast.
It's a car with 2 steering wheels, and you have to have 2 people in perfect harmony.
Oh my god.
Or like Proto early days Jaeger Tech is just driving a car better.
Just have like a little USB socket implanted on your brain, and then you plug into the car stereo, and that's how it works. There is no steering wheel. You just gotta think to drive.
You become the car.
But yeah, drifting is just such a unique, cool concept for like how to pilot a mech instead of just, oh, I'm just a guy piloting a robot and it works just sort of like a regular vehicle. It's like, no, it's 2 people mind melding.
And I think it works better than something like Evangelion, because it's just like Evangelion's like they're children, they have to be children because plot, and their mom has to be dead.
Well, you know the theories about that, right?
Yeah, there's like too many, and it was too vague.
The souls of the mothers are in the Evangelion.
Yeah, people are saying that the Eva units are the mothers, and the unit is the womb. But that's a digression.
It's a different podcast. When somebody makes us watch the 15th Evangelion movie, whenever that comes out.
I still haven't seen End of Evangelion, but anyway.
We'll do that once I actually watch Eva.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the one thing that I really loved about the drifting is that you think about someone like Raleigh, or I guess later on Pentecost. They both had essentially 3 lifetimes in their brain by the end of the movie. They actually had like 3 whole human experiences in their mind, and I was just this is a little nitpick I had with it. Wouldn't Chuck be really humbled by literally melding his mind with his dad?
You'd think, yeah.
Because his dad was like this grizzled guy, but he knew what was up. He was like nice. He was he understood what the world was about. If you literally have that life experience in your head, wouldn't that make you a better person,
Yeah, I
Maybe?
think you're right, but
Because I think
again, I think it was mentioned of how Herc never really like disciplined Chuck
No, he's a
ever.
static
that's
character.
true. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that was out of place in the rest of the
Yeah.
movie. I mean,
Yeah, they could have done a
I
little
really
bit more with him, I think. Other than,
like.
let's use the flare gun and it doesn't work.
No, they literally, he says beforehand, let's do something really stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Shoot him with a flare gun.
it's a good idea at the time.
I mean, I don't think flare guns have that much propulsion. Though. Whatever.
It's literally the only propulsion I think they had at all.
Because the whole Jaeger was shut down because of the EMP.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh yeah, the one thing I didn't like about the opening sequence was there were like 3 or 4 Inception horns.
It's almost like an Inception horn, more like a fog horn, like it's a big ship.
Really? It just sounded straight up like the Inception
Well, I mean,
horn.
yeah, foghorn, the Inception horn, it's like the same thing, but
But
still.
it was in the score.
Yeah.
I think it is in the music, yeah.
I don't know.
It was 2013. Inception wasn't like that new. It was still kind of new, I think, at that point.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
that's
I'm
when
wrong.
it started. That's when everyone started using it. Was when Inception was
This
big.
summer.
I can't take it seriously anymore.
Charlie Day.
People still do it now. It still happens now.
It does.
It seriously does.
But yeah, just like seeing the Jaegers and just like they're in the water and just the water is pouring off of them is such
Oh,
a
yeah.
great effect. It's
Yeah,
just
like I actually
amazing.
thought that for like a majority of the movie, I thought the Jaegers were mostly CG, and then there's a part where they're fighting and like smoke comes off of it, and I'm like, that smoke is too realistic to be CG.
I think it's just they just really had a great eye for detail for it,
Yeah.
and they just Del Toro wanted to make sure like no, these things have to look as like
Yeah.
real and physical and heavy and as possible. That's why they're so slow. It's not like a Evangelion, which is like sprinting through a city or something. It's slowly moving and walking, and like every footstep is like ripping up the ground below it. Every punch has weight to it.
Yeah. Also, I think all the different kaiju had like their own little move sets too. Like one of them looked like it was walking like a gorilla or something like that.
Yeah, that's the I believe Leatherback from the Hong Kong fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
and then you
made
have
that off the top of your head.
oh yeah, no, I kind of have some of the names down. Like Otachi is the one that had the wings.
I did. When were they ever given names?
Yeah, they were Yeah, they were given
Charlie
some
Day.
names.
Charlie Day says
Oh.
most
Okay.
because he's obsessed with them.
The first one that takes out Raleigh and Yancey is called Knifehead.
Yeah, and that's the one he has a tattoo of, right?
He has a tattoo of like some other one that was
Oh.
never seen.
Okay.
They all have they get code names.
I mean, that's very Evangelion.
Well, yeah, the angels have names.
Ramiel screams geometrically.
But speaking of punches, how did you feel about that scene with the Newton balls?
The what?
Where Gypsy punches through the building, the office building, and then it.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And the Newton balls start click back, click back.
Is that like a reference to something, or is that just like a little joke?
I think that was just a cool scene.
Yeah, just enough.
Okay, one thing I liked about this movie is that it has a lot of Western corn. It's very
Yes.
cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, some
I
of
don't
the
think you
lines-
get
okay, I
that
wrote down
anywhere
some of the
else.
lines. We're canceling the apocalypse.
Oh no, that speech scene was in like all of the trailers.
Oh man, that
It got a lot of play.
that was terrible. Except for we're canceling the
I
apocalypse.
love it.
That's such a good line.
It's so good.
What are we,
Well-
some kind of Suicide Squad?
Fucking shut up.
Welcome
Please
to
stop.
Earth.
Welcome to Earth is good though.
Apparently, Welcome to Earth never actually happened.
No,
Apparently,
he
he
says
actually
welcome to
pronounces
Earth
it
when he
Earth.
punches the dude. But it just sounds like it says Earth because he has a cigar in his mouth, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Which movie?
That's Independence Day.
Alright.
What else? Should I start
Dead
getting into
air.
like themes?
No, how'd you guys think about Mako in general?
Oh, Mako's awesome.
I liked her,
Mako's
but I think they took a little bit too long to get to her like whole story. There was
I
like
have
too
a
much
couple
foreshadowing, I
problems
think.
with it. I thought the fighting scene they had, they kept on interrupting it. They kept on talking during it, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
just have like a
Yeah.
silent fight scene. That would have been so cool.
yeah. The problem is, I think the way it works is it was like how many hits, so they
Yeah,
had to
it's
like
first
stop
five.
it to show each
But
hit.
But they didn't even bother with the earlier ones. You didn't even know what was going on.
I think what they should have done is like an extended fight sequence, and then like have somebody in the back call out the score, and then
That
like
would've been
they were like doing it so perfectly that they barely even hit each other for a little while.
That would
Yeah.
have been so good. Another thing, this is me getting real nitpicky, but that's gonna happen a lot. I think Pentecost said before you knew any of Mako's background was that she wanted to be a pilot because of a vengeance.
Well, yeah, because her family is killed in the kaiju attack when she was a child.
But if he's concerned about her wanting vengeance, wouldn't he be concerned about Raleigh wanting vengeance?
Well,
Because
I don't
he
think Raleigh was
I think it's
necessarily
because
vengeful
he-
because for like the years that pass since his brother dies and when the events pick back up, he's just sort of been a sad guy working on the wall.
But he literally experienced a death at the hands of the kaiju.
I think what he's really saying is I don't think he actually cares about the vengeance part. I think it's more that since he specifically saved her and he grew up with her, or like he watched her grow up.
He's a
I
dad.
think it's more of that.
Yeah,
and I think
she's
he's just using
effectively his adopted kid.
vengeance as like the what he's like the reason that he can't, but it's not like actually the reason.
Well,
Does
yeah,
that make
I just
sense?
I think it's kind of a plot hole though, because later on in the movie he would never say that.
I think it was more of him just like covering up, like, oh, I don't want
Yeah, that's what I thought.
my
But
like
it
adopted
contradicts with
kid.
him hiring Raleigh.
I don't think he actually cared about the vengeance part. I think it was more of the
Do you think it was
like
just
the
a stupid thing he
excuse.
said in the moment?
I think it was like more of an excuse to not
Okay,
let her
that's
in.
fair.
Yeah, he's
I didn't-
explaining away his actual reasoning.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way. I saw it as a bad writing, but that works
Maybe.
too.
I don't know.
They can't all be winners.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It
Nothing's
was what,
perfect.
over 2 hours? Yeah, you're gonna have some bad lines.
You want me to get? Should I start going into like some thematic?
No, I'm still going. I'm still going with my
Oh, you still
nitpicks.
going?
It's never gonna end.
Of course.
Okay, the last thing was, why did the kaiju not take a lot out of Charlie Day drifting with them? Because like they were adapting mostly based on just what they saw and them fighting with them, and they're a literal hive mind. So if they saw into, Charlie Day, a scientist literally working in the same facility as the Jaegers, wouldn't they know everything pretty much about
Well,
them?
he wasn't really like working on the Jaegers. He was more of just like a geneticist, like working with like studying the kaiju as opposed to like.
But he was in the facility and he saw things. And if drifting, you get their entire life experience, they would have seen the entire, the Jaeger facility. They would know what was going on. If they can get that much just from looking at the Jaegers themselves, you'd think they'd be able to extrapolate with that, seeing that much from. I'm gonna keep calling Charlie Day because I don't remember his character.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Newton, excuse me.
Newton.
I totally have the Pacific Rim characters Google up.
That's okay.
Oh, cool.
Understandable.
Okay, well,
don't
I
know.
think maybe it was like
They
a
can't be perfect.
situation where they were just like not expecting them to be able to fight back against their like final attack thingy.
Yeah,
that's
with
true.
they
Maybe
sent
they got
out the
cocky.
strongest kaiju they had ever recorded, and so they probably just expected it was going to work out.
You know what I really wanted the ending to be?
What?
I wanted them to take the Type 5 and put the nuke in it and then shove it down through the rift.
That would have been kind of
Something
cool.
like the
really wanted
Avengers
them to do.
ending, where
I've never
Tony.
seen the Avengers.
No, spoilers for the Avengers. Tony Stark
Oh,
nukes
no.
the
Yeah,
Yeah,
entire
spoilers for
alien
a movie that's 5 years old
Yeah,
plus, like 6 years old.
Tony Stark just shoves a nuke into a dimension where the aliens are invading from.
That's cool. I need to watch the Avengers.
You should.
Maybe
And then
just
I think in
uh,
like Age of Ultron's, he's like having like flashbacks to that.
Oh yeah, no, he like
He
after
literally
the
just
Avengers
had a
1,
nuke
he
and
has
almost
PTSD.
got what?
But because he basically almost dies when he does that. He has PTSD for like basically the rest of the series. He's
Yeah.
traumatized.
Understandable.
Like in Iron Man 3, that's one of the major like plot points. Is just Tony is extremely
Yeah.
shaken up and traumatized by almost dying
I mean,
in
same.
space with aliens.
Right. I know how it is. One last
I can
thing.
relate.
It'd be like that.
Yeah. That's just how it do.
I played Halo 3 on Halo 2 on Legendary.
Completely compatible experiences.
Just play it.
He was in the Halo.
I was Jonathan Halo for a week.
Jonathan Halo.
Steve Halo.
Master
No,
Chef.
no, Professor Stephen Halo. I'll have you know.
Yes,
he
how
worked
could I
hard
be
for
so
that title.
disrespectful? He worked hard for that degree.
He researched them Halo.
Yeah, man. So, themes. Should I start talking about
Let's go on to themes. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So, I imagine you guys also saw the post-credit scene. I know Max did. Did you see the post-credit?
Oh, you mean the thing with Ron Perlman?
Yeah, cutting
Yeah.
his way out of the baby kaiju.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, I noticed that I remember the foreshadowing. He sticks his knife in Charlie's nose at one point, and then the second that he stabbed the kaiju in the nose, I'm like, he's gonna fucking drift with it. I know it.
No, yeah.
The nose.
Yeah, there's like a
Also
little motif there.
Nose stabbing.
The symbolism of shoes with
Oh, yeah.
Mako carrying the shoe.
Shit, that's what I was going to be talking about.
Yeah,
was
that's
the
for
shoes.
the next part.
The shoes. There's
Yeah.
Mako carrying a shoe, and there's Ron Perlman's shoe.
Oh, I didn't
Maybe
notice
he loses
that.
his shoe, and the pair. And what do shoes come in? Pairs.
Trios.
Guess what?
Pairs! Ah! Oh, I didn't even
Pairs.
pick up on that.
Pairs of shoes, just like pairs of Jaeger pilots.
Oh my god.
That's so clever.
It's so
But-
good.
Yeah, that makes the scene with Pentecost giving Mako the shoe, that makes it so much more like
Yeah,
nice.
that makes more sense.
Is because that's what it's about. Is you have to have two. You have to have two
It takes
shoes
two
to have
to
a
make a
pair,
thing go
and you
right.
have to have. Yup. There you go, Max. You gotta
I've
have
seen the
two
Ant-Man
pilots
trailer
to
a
make
little
Jaeger
too many
work.
times, alright? Like, every single movie I've been to recently, it's just the trailer that shows. And they use that song in it.
Don't watch trailers, kids.
I try not to, but they shove them in my face whenever I see a movie nowadays.
You just have to arrive, half an hour after the movie
I
starts.
can't because my freaking mom was like, "No, we gotta get there early." I'm like,
You
Go
always
movies
gotta get there
alone.
early. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm always watching trailers. What are you guys' problems? I mean, I stop myself when it's like, hey, it's really close to the movie's release, and they just released a third trailer. I'm gonna
Yeah.
not watch that.
If I'm excited for a movie, I don't watch the trailer. If I'm not excited, I'll watch the trailer.
I only try to watch the most vague initial release trailers.
Yeah, if
Oh, the
there's
teaser?
teasers or something.
Yeah,
Teasers
the
are
teasers, yeah. I just want to know of the movie's existence, and then
Yeah.
maybe like just at least like some pictures from the movie to see if I would like its thematic design. I don't know.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
no, that's how I heard about A Quiet Place. Was when I watched Shape of Water, and I saw the trailer in the theater. I had never heard of it before that point.
Yeah, but you would have heard it when it started.
Oh yeah, when it started,
You
getting
can't hear it,
on
it's A
TV
Quiet
and stuff,
Place.
But I had not seen anything of it until then, and that's how
Yeah,
I got interested in it.
Good
I haven't
example
seen
of a good teaser was the JoJo Part 5, that PV
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that came out recently. It's pretty much just some animation testing, and it looks great.
I can't believe that's coming out this year.
It's
So
crazy.
I didn't think it was happening until next year.
No one did.
I can't wait as somebody that knows absolutely nothing about Part 5.
See, you're both lucky and unlucky because I know everything and I'm still excited.
Well, I mean, I'm an asshole who looks at the wiki, so I kind of know. There are some things I don't. There are some things that will be surprises for me. There are some certain events that I know happened, but I don't know when and how.
There are so many great scenes in Part 5.
I've seen out of context scenes, and I have a feeling that they're just as amazing in context.
Bruno
not-
licks Jono's face. Jono
Yeah, I've
drinks
seen that.
piss.
I've seen the part where they like all start dancing for no reason or something like that.
I can't wait for that to get animated.
Okay. Any more Pacific Rim notes? Any more
Uh,
theme?
I mean, that's really all I got. Is just it's the shoes. Oh wait, no. Actually, it does. There is a certain other point I have to make about Pacific Rim, and that is its kind of role in where we are now with kaiju films and stuff. Is it's basically the beginning of what I like to call the kaiju renaissance that we live in now, where we're getting new kaiju films like basically every year now.
You're
Since
getting
Like,
okay.
oh yeah, I guess we got Kong Skull Island and
because
Shin
2013 Pacific Rim, the year after Godzilla returns after 10 years of absence with Godzilla 2014, and that kickstarts our current like Godzilla Kong cinematic
yeah, Kong
universe.
Skull Island.
And also
And
the
there's, like,
anime Godzilla.
Anime Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, like it's just been kicking off, and it basically starts with Pacific Rim effectively.
You know what? That's great because Shin
Where we are
Godzilla
now.
was amazing.
Yeah, I think there's still a place for giant robot, giant
Oh, of
monster
course.
movies, and I think it was definitely time for some new stuff because the old stuff was a little too corny, and we need some like it's too like 80s corny, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I couldn't
80s and
even-
below. We need some like
like
2010 corny.
Yeah, but like, I think some of the Godzilla movies are a lot more serious than you're giving them credit.
Yeah, true. Also, Shin
the two
Godzilla
you
was not
guys have
corny at all.
watched, two of the ones you guys have watched are the original and Shin, which are like as serious as it gets.
Yeah.
You have to forget, I have seen Son of Godzilla.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, and what about War of the Gargantuans?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
you saw that?
Which
Oh.
has like this musical interlude halfway through.
That's normal though.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I have to show you guys Final Wars sometime. It's
I
just
need to see
the
that.
best. It's just all fighting. It's just all monsters fighting, people fighting. It's all just fighting all the time. It's great. This was the last Godzilla movie until 2014 happened, by the way. So like Final Wars came out and then they just stopped for a decade.
Oh yeah, no, because it was supposed to be the final one. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's what they brought.
Final
Like,
Wars.
yes, they brought back like just about every single monster that had ever been in the series for like one last hurrah.
That's great.
And then they did more.
Yeah, well, I
But
mean,
now it's again.
again, a decade later.
Well, it's isn't it because like it did well or something like that?
I don't think that they did not really do well like in the 2000s series.
Oh,
They
okay.
kind of there's only like 5 movies in that series because they
I
were
thought
not
Final
doing too
Wars
hot.
did well or something, and they're like, oh shit, go back.
Oh no, that happened with you're thinking Destroy All Monsters, which was
Oh,
like in
okay.
the 60s, 70s era, where that was supposed to be the end because they brought in just about every kaiju they had at that time.
Okay,
But
that
it
it's the
made
same
big money
scenario
to
as
keep it
this.
going. But, yeah.
Godzilla Battle Royale.
There are
No.
multiple. No, shut up! I would love a kaiju battle royale game. That'd be awesome.
Me too. That'd be great. Guest
I am
characters, the
sick
Titans
of
from
battle
Attack on
royale games.
Ultraman.
Can I
Everybody.
play as the volcano from fucking War of the Gargantuans?
Titan.
Environmental hazard.
My favorite
Environmental hazard.
Stage hazard. There's
Wait, it
just
could
a
be like the
volcano.
red zones from PUBG. I don't know if there's
Just-
equivalent of that in other games, but PUBG is the only one I played.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just every now and then an undersea volcano appears.
I think most battle royales have a time limit.
Yeah, they
Well,
always
yeah,
have
there's,
time
like, the
limit,
the stage
and they always
shrinks
have
over time.
the shrinking thing. But PUBG has like a red zone, which is like a little circle somewhere randomly appearing on the map, and it will just get bombed.
Oh,
Yeah, like you
That's
won't
neat.
immediately die if you're inside. Like you can survive indoors, but yeah, there's like bombs going off.
okay, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
But yeah, that's Pacific Rim, man.
Okay, I actually
So
have more to
good.
say about Pacific Rim.
Ooh.
One of the things I went into it thinking was I was trying to think of what influenced it, you know. And when you think a lot about kaiju movies, like the original Godzilla, I guess we don't really know what it was about, but most people assume it was about nuclear arms and how they're not good, you know, in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that and the Fallout, because a lot of the fallout from nuclear, like it wasn't just the blast that killed most people, it was also the radiation.
Yeah.
That
And
stayed
so,
behind, yeah.
And then you look at the more modern era of the ones I've seen, like Shin Godzilla, is not really about. It's somewhat about the nuclear part, but it's mostly
Natural
about
disasters.
Well, it's not just that. It's also about the
tsunami.
political system of Japan in general, and
It's
like
also
how
about the
sometimes
community.
what?
It's also about the community, which is a lot of Asian culture is built around the good of the community rather than the good of the individual.
Yeah.
So when you look at something like Pacific Rim, I went into it and I'm like, okay, this is a Western kaiju movie. So what are they going to do with that kind of concept? If you're taking inspiration from these movies that are so deeply rooted in Asian culture, and you try to make them something more palatable to like the people in the Americas, because I know Guillermo is I believe he's Mexican.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's also a big fucking nerd.
He's great.
I love him. He's wonderful.
But when I was just interested.
Yeah, he's
in when
from Mexico.
Yeah, I was just interested in when he was setting out to make a kaiju film if he would take like the sense of community, and they kind of do, but it also has it almost felt like what American military movies are going to be like in 50 years, like a space war movie,
Yeah.
Oh god, that is gonna happen.
Can we get like a Starship Troopers Godzilla film?
There is one Godzilla movie where he goes to space.
Like just an entire movie based on the propaganda that they create in Pacific Rim.
Just have like a goofy animated kaiju based on the pop culture in Pacific Rim.
Just a kaiju that is just a direct representation of like Hitler or something like that.
Oh my god. Just horrible
we gotta kill those bastards.
That's clearly what Pacific Rim 3 is going to be about.
Oh god.
What was 2 even about?
Please do not watch Pacific Rim Uprising. It is not worth your time.
What is it?
No, Guillermo did not direct. He did not direct it.
He produced it, I think.
But no, it is it is so not worth it. Do not, please. I saw this in theaters. I wish I didn't.
Alright, let's see, what is it? Jake?
My word for it. It just turns it into full.
Reunites with Makumura. I just butchered that. To lead a new generation of Jaeger pilots, including rival Lambert 15-year-old hacker Amara, against a new kaiju threat.
It's not.
That's very vague.
It's just like it takes.
That sounds bad.
It's all like basically turns into just like military propaganda-ish sort of deal. Have a lot of like that.
Flipping Battle Royale 2.
Mako like just gets killed off in the lamest way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She just dies in a helicopter crash. It's so
my god.
That reminds me of like a Call of Duty intro where it's like you meet this new character and they're like, we're friends. We gotta be friends. And then that character just dies in the first mission. And it's like, oh, he died creating drama. And it's
really
scripted.
common.
And it's like every Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3.
That's a really common trope. Honestly.
It's so fucking annoying and obvious when Call of Duty does it.
Let's talk about Gurren Lagann. No.
Ooh.
Don't
do this to me. Don't.
I'm not finished. I haven't finished.
I'm talking about dying at the beginning of the game, though.
Okay, but like, I don't know. That's how I feel about.
Spoiler happens like halfway through the entire show. This
no,
happens.
It's not. It's 8 episodes.
Okay, well, maybe not.
You know who gets murdered.
It's been a while since I've seen this.
A third of the way through.
Okay, well, I'm talking about Call of Duty does this within the first 10th of the game.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
At Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, I draw the comparison to the movie Battle Royale 2 because Battle Royale 1 is a very good movie. It's based on a manga, I believe, and it's about
That's the one where they're all stuck in like a house and have to kill each other, right?
They're stuck on an island. They're all
okay.
on an island, and they're kids because they're rowdy kids, and it has a lot of societal commentary on like how adults treat school children and how school children treat adults and how none of that is good.
Sounds like Japanese Lord of the Flies.
But then, yeah, that's actually.
I actually read Lord of the Flies.
I had to read it for school and I hated it.
Most
but I think I appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it when I was a senior because I was in literature stuff. Anyway, the Battle Royale 2 is just a bunch of military propaganda and it's terrible.
Oh my god.
They're both on Netflix.
But yeah, unless you want to like suffer and have like Pacific Rim slightly retroactively like ruined for you a little bit.
No, it'll improve it because you'll see a worse movie.
True. But it'll just be like, oh, Mako's dead for no reason. Fuck this shit. to boost my angst. Kill off the one like one of the three characters that like carries over from the original. Oh, and they also ruin Charlie Day
Oh,
because
what do
they
they
just
do
make
to
him
him?
like they ruin him in Uprising because do you want to know why? Do you want to know what they fucking do to him?
Go
What do they
for it.
do?
Spoiler warning.
Because he drifted with the kaiju, they basically make it so like the kaiju's like creators have like taken over his mind, and now he's just like a being
Oh,
their
he's
like
like a non-character
human.
now.
Yeah, he's
Is
like
he
the
even like
human
trying to
like.
fight it, or is he
He
just
basically he
completely
becomes the
bad?
bad guy. He's pretty much the villain,
Uh,
and he like makes a super duper big kaiju.
See, that half
Yeah.
sounds great.
It's
I feel like if it's executed terribly, then it's just awful.
Okay.
it's not.
If you
It's-
keep his personality and just make him evil, that would be
No,
amazing.
no. He just becomes an evil guy.
Yeah, if they like
Aw.
completely remove his personality, then he's just gone.
What's the point? He literally is the comic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he just becomes Charlie Day, but he's a bad person now.
It's Darth Jar Jar all over again.
Except they actually went through with it this time.
They did it.
Those animals, they actually went and did it.
The absolute madmen.
Okay, I
Just
thought of
imagine
another
you're
topic.
watching Star Wars Episode 9 and then Jar Jar fucking shows up.
I would love that. I mean,
No, I
Don't
think everyone
say
actually did
things that
super
might
hyped.
happen.
I mean, Lucas isn't in it, so they'd probably just kill him off.
Yeah, but Abrams, Mr.
We have,
Mystery Box himself.
I
We
forgot.
have
it's
The
April
Last
again.
Jedi, but instead of whoever that one person was that piloted the ship, just put Jar Jar there.
Oh, you mean Holdo?
I think. I don't know.
People, yeah, Admiral Holdo.
People do not like her.
A lot
I
of people
didn't
were saying
hate her,
they should have
but
put they should have put Admiral Akbar there because you know.
Akbar is a joke character. All he has is the one line in Episode 6, and that's all anyone cares about. He's just a meme.
But he's a
Yeah,
fan
but, like,
favorite.
yeah.
Fuck him.
Well, it's like
He's a nothing character.
yeah,
I
but like
agree.
there's also a different nothing character. There's the like weird looking dude that pilots the ship with Lando. But
Yeah,
people
well,
don't care
he's
about
just.
him.
Yeah, but so he's not in like he doesn't have any major role in like the future movies.
He should.
And okay, sure. So I thought of another topic we could talk about. You know, Pacific Rim, the movie. The casting. What do you guys think about the casting in general?
I thought it was on point.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's all
I
good.
love Idris Elba. I loved Ron Perlman. Charlie Day was great. The woman who played Mako,
Rinko Kikuchi.
Rinko Kikuchi, she was amazing.
I'm sad she doesn't get more roles. She is fantastic.
I actually, oh yeah, we should probably explain. We're gonna do recommendations at the end. I almost recommended a movie with her in it. I'm not
Oh,
going to,
nice.
but I almost did on accident. I didn't even know she was in it.
Yeah. I was kind of vague with Pacific Rim. I wanted there to be some surprises, like the GLaDOS being the voice of the AI and Charlie.
Oh
Day.
yeah.
They literally asked Valve. They were like, "Hey, can we use GLaDOS in our movie?"
Yes. It's so good.
I think
I
it's
thought that was
hilarious.
all great.
I think it's hilarious that Del Toro actually picked Charlie Day based on It's Always Sunny.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He actually was watching an episode of It's Always Sunny and thought, you know, this guy would be good for my kaiju movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
I feel like I feel like when he was picked for it, he was probably just like, I understand why you did this.
The casting I didn't like. I thought Raleigh was okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Nothing
not.
special.
Honestly, the
Oh,
movie's
sorta.
not about him. It just feels like
Yeah.
it's about everything else.
He's an everyman. He's just, you see the movie through him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other scientist that wasn't Charlie Day, I felt bad for him. I think he was written poorly.
I think he was a good, actor. He did everything really well.
Yeah, he was a great.
But they
he's a-
definitely could have expanded on it.
He's
think
basically he's Newt's foil. Is basically what Gottlieb is. He's just sort of like.
Yeah. I think if they expanded on their like rivalry and made them like hate each other even more, but also like each other that much more, it would have been great.
I think his like mannerisms were too overkill. Like you get the
Yeah.
first scene of him like stumbling with the walking
The
stick,
giant, yeah.
but then
At
later
one
on,
point, he straight up says, "By Jove."
Oh my god.
Ugh.
By the
Um,
Pope.
Yeah.
So good actor, bad role. Sorry. Sorry, Guillermo. Who else? I thought Herc and Chuck were just okay.
Yeah, that's
I
alright.
feel
They're
like
like
a lot
side
of
characters.
the other pilots were just like, we need another pilot, so we'll give a
How about the
character for that.
Russian ones though?
The Cherno Alpha is the best. It just punches. That's all it does. It has no other
Three arm.
abilities.
Is that the 3-arm one?
Sorry,
No, that's the Russian one.
Oh, okay.
the Russian one was a treat.
It's just a tank. It just punches. That's all it does. It has
Is
no
that the one with the
missiles
weird
or
face?
anything. Yeah, it's the big, like,
that is-
rounded,
it is strange.
squared off head.
Yeah.
And then there's the 3-arm one, which is like Crimson Typhoon. Crimson Typhoon is pretty cool.
I mean, they had like what 20 minutes of action, maybe
Yeah,
less.
they don't last long, but come on, it's sick. They have 3 arms, and the arms turn into saw blades.
Okay, that's more your area than mine. I don't really.
I thought
admire
all the
mechs that
designs were
much.
just fantastic. They all looked really unique, and they all
I
looked
think
like
the
they were built with a good purpose.
the main one, the Gypsy
Gypsy Danger.
Danger, that one looked awesome. It looked
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah, no, Gypsy
space
Danger
marine.
rules.
So good.
All right, I don't want to try to sound like I'm speeding things up too much, but we do need to get to the anime.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we discussed everything we
Yeah.
wanted.
Ooh,
You're at the,
another
40-minute
complaint that
mark.
a lot of people have about Pacific Rim. I want to know your thoughts. A lot of people are usually upset about, oh, hey, why didn't they use the sword earlier?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that made me angry. I was like, if you
Oh,
have
yeah.
a sword, why aren't you using it? I mean, it made for a
Sometimes you
great
have to
moment.
shoot things. Also,
they
I
got
imagine
too
it was
used
like.
to shooting.
Also, the reason I like to think is Raleigh didn't know they had, like, that's a new
You're
edition.
cutting out on my end.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're cutting
sorry.
out a little bit, but it's fine.
Oh, I think
mine-
it's like Raleigh didn't know they had the sword, like that was new added.
It made a really, really good moment when it pans over to the terminal and it's like sword, and you're like, yes.
You're like,
pull
yes,
out
Oh,
the
yeah.
sword.
It's so good.
But it's also kind of feels like, actually, you know what? Raleigh should have known because he was drifting with the person who worked on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the
Plot
kill
hole.
streaks in Call of Duty. It's like, technically you should have access to this immediately, but it's so much more rewarding if you hold
It's-
off from giving
It's
it to the
fueled
person.
by kaiju blood.
It makes it cool. It's a cool moment. You get to just slice up the dude who's dragging you into the sky and then free fall from like the atmosphere.
But yeah, plot hole, but cool moment. I'm not complaining.
Yay.
Yeah.
Because everyone bitches about that.
It's the most obvious plot hole, but
I feel like
rule
some
of
things
cool,
were
you know?
were created
Yeah, exactly.
rather to give a really cool scene, which is sometimes just worth it.
That's kind of what kaiju and mech boils down to.
Yeah.
Is it looks cool.
Yeah. Mechs don't have to look like people, but it looks cool that they're just big robot people.
I don't know. Some of the non-humanoid
Like,
ones.
just
the
make a
Big O.
big tank.
Dude, the Big O.
Yeah.
Big O is a great mech design.
Oh no, I love Big O. He's awesome. Big fucking piston arms. It's the best.
Wait, what is Big O?
It's an anime made by the people who did the Batman animated series.
Like, same animation team.
All right.
It's Sunrise. They did it.
Oh, I like that.
It's,
looks
it's
cool.
A big dark thing with giant piston fists.
Oh my god.
It's great.
And it's like very like noir themes and like setting.
The guy
God
who
damn it, now I
pilots
gotta
it
watch
is
this.
just- he's just straight up Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he's like Bruce Wayne, but he's just like more of a detective, and he's not. He just does. But instead of being Batman, he just shows up sometimes in a mech.
And he yells, "It's showtime!"
Oh yeah, no, the English in that show is fantastic. No, I wouldn't forgive you for. I'd say you'd be totally fine with watching the dub is fine
Oh, okay.
because the voice of Roger in the dub is the same guy who does Spike Spiegel.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
It's Steve Bloom
That's
So-
about the same era too.
I mean,
That's cool.
Steve
Yeah,
Bloom is like
because that's
one of the
earlier Toonami. So yeah.
VAs.
Yeah, the Bebop dub is top tier.
I
That's-
I
you
didn't
get a
know
little
this,
bit
but
of that.
apparently Steve Bloom also wrote the Trigun dub.
Oh,
Nice.
he did the scripting. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a lot
and
of
he
voice
also
actors
apparently
who
played the
do
old
writing.
man.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that until I met him in Trigun cosplay. And I was just like, oh, I came to get Call of Duty signed. but that's
Call of
also
Duty.
awesome.
That's great.
Because he played Tank Dempsey from the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies mode. If you are
Okay.
into that sort of thing.
That means nothing to me. I'm sorry.
I'm aware of what
So
that
basically,
means.
Call of Duty Zombies, you have the four
Are you
main
gonna
characters.
We're gonna have a whole segment.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna get. There's four main characters. They all have to work together because there's a zombie apocalypse. But the problem is they are from World War II, and one is an American, one is a Russian, one is a Nazi, and one is a Japanese soldier. And they're all
Okay.
forced to
All
work
corners.
together. It's amazing.
That sounds like kind of a nightmare.
Yes, it is. It's great. And they have to save the world.
World's worst Power Rangers.
Yes. A literal Nazi commander.
It's the most ragtag group ever.
Anyways, we should probably get on to the anime because
Yes, we
we are like
should.
45
Oh,
minutes in.
Connor can head this conversation because this is his domain.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Lupin the Third, the woman named Mine Fujiko. This is a 2012 anime that aired. It's 13 episodes. This is technically an alternate universe prequel to the Lupin the Third lore, if you care. I am a huge fan of this whole series. I've watched part 1, I've watched part 4, nothing else. I absolutely love this. The Woman Called Mine Fujiko. It is fantastic, and I want to hear what you guys thought about it.
Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way right now. You're gonna kill me for this. I watched
Oh,
the
yeah.
dub.
I'm fine with that. It has Michelle
Okay.
Ruff as Fujiko, right? She's great.
Yeah, it also has the dude that voices All Might as Daisakai, which I think is a really good pick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like a good pick. I actually I watched, but I was kind of like I watched sub, but I was like kind of switching back and forth like with the first episode to sort of decide if I wanted to do dub or sub or not. And the only reason I picked sub is because the dub doesn't like have subtitles for any of the Japanese text that appeared in some of the segments. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, damn.
I just kind of missed out on that part. There's not too
Okay.
much of it though.
No, you didn't miss much.
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to read what that says, so I went with sub.
No, I don't hate you guys for picking dub. It's like this is an example of a good dub. Probably.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it, but I know the voice actor. Michelle Ruff is great.
Yeah.
She's in most of the Persona games actually. She's the teacher in Persona 5.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't know. I
Yeah.
did not play in Persona.
She gives you a massage. It's cool.
A
She's also a
massage.
maid.
She's also a maid. Yeah.
She does
maybe.
your laundry.
A maid for hire.
Anyway, let's talk about this anime. So
I thought it was really, really fucking good. It's in my favorite era, Cold War. It has a lot of my favorite kind of set pieces. You know, sleeper agents shit. That's always fun.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It has bodyguards, hitmen. It has
Yeah.
everything.
Very good.
MK
I enjoyed
Ultra
it a lot
shit.
too.
It gets really crazy near the end.
Yep, I always love
Oh,
it when
yeah.
shows and movies do that.
There's literally an episode where it's just an entire drug trip. You don't
Yep.
know what happened and what didn't.
Yeah. Episode 7 is literally just the Cuban Missile Crisis times 10.
It is. It's
Again,
all
basically,
history.
like, I think it's like episode 10 or wherever he's going through the facility. I could also make
that's
another
episode
reference to Call of Duty Black Ops, which is amazing.
The numbers.
It's Call of Duty's, yeah, where Mason's just going crazy and you don't understand what's going on, and then he finally figures it all out. It's basically that, but
Except
in
you
anime.
don't figure anything out, and everything's confusing.
Yes.
People have owls for heads.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Owlheads.
The owls. I actually, when I was watching this, I kept on getting an ad flipping TripAdvisor, and their logo is an owl. Their logo is a little owl head, and it freaked me out.
Holy shit.
They know.
Yeah, I actually
Anime
wanted to
is
talk
real.
about- I actually wanted
Anime
to
is
talk about-
real.
I wanted to talk about the episode 7 because that's the alternate history Cuban Missile Crisis. where
Oh,
they
yeah.
switch around the names with Fidel Cast as
Yeah.
Fidel Castro.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have like I think Americana. The USA is just called like Americana.
No, it's Yamerica.
Yeah, man, yeah, in America or something like that. It's
The
so
United States of
goofy.
Yamerica.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is
I
Rick Donald's level.
I really love
bootleg countries.
I love how they took that part of history because these are Japanese people taking on like the Cold War,
Yeah, the one thing
and
they
they
weren't like really associated with too much.
they
Yeah.
literally had the main conflict being a missile being fired and a samurai showing up and destroying it and stopping World War III.
This is the
Shit,
part
I
where I
believe it.
say that Goemon is my favorite. He's the best boy.
Goemon is incredible.
He is amazing. He fucking stops World War III. It's
I
the
mean,
best.
yeah.
Just samurai stops World War III. It's so good.
The thing about Goemon is that he's definitely a fan favorite. People love Goemon, but in the original series, he appeared very rarely. He was like a special character. He didn't
He's
show
a
up that
guest.
much, but when he did, he was great.
I also I love how Fujiko meets all of the members of like the crew like before they ever actually come together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
also
comment
cool.
on that
I
a
do
lot.
like that detail of just like she's associated with them before they become associated with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all had each of their separate episodes.
Because yeah, episodes 1, 2, and 3 are Fujiko meets Lupin, then she meets Jigen, and then she meets Goemon.
Yep. That's one thing that coming from watching the series a lot. They tried to stay pretty consistent with the characters. Like Jigen is always, he's always kind of like, oh, I've had enough of this crap. And like Lupin is always just kind of fun loving, but he knows what he's doing. Goemon, I don't know. They changed Goemon a lot. Goemon hates women in the original. He
Oh,
doesn't want anything to do with them.
Because in this, he's like a big shy. He's very
Yeah.
shy and like nervous around women.
He
Yeah.
literally asked Fujiko to be his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah.
Which is hilarious.
I don't think he asks her in the dub. He's like, "No, you are my girlfriend" or something like that.
Well, at the end of episode 3, he starts saying, "You can be a true," and then it cuts off. Fujiko runs away, and then
Oh,
he
I
says,
think yeah.
I think later on he just says, "You are my girlfriend."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Last
like
episode.
towards the end, he's like, "Yeah, no, you're my girlfriend." He says
How do
it.
you feel? How do you feel about Goemon cross-dressing in the last 2 episodes?
I
I
thought
still
it was
don't understand the point
hilarious.
of that.
I don't know why he was cross-dressing. I know. We
I
can
know
talk more
Oscar
about Oscar
was,
later.
but
Oscar was because Oscar really wanted to be Fujiko.
yeah. Also, wait,
Um,
didn't Oscar die in the bomb?
No,
I'm confused.
he's
Oscar
he
drove
lives.
a gas tanker into the castle, and is presumably dead.
What?
No, I
Do you
thought he
not
jumped
remember
out of the
that?
tanker at the end.
Oh,
He-
so there's a part where they were gonna blow up the bridge and then he takes the bomb and then jumps in the water with it. How did he not die?
The owls
Probably
got him.
because of the owls. Yeah, either it was a
Okay.
fake bomb. Either it was a fake bomb or it wasn't enough to kill him.
I mean, if you're holding a bomb and you're underwater, just because you're underwater doesn't mean that.
Who
Yeah,
says?
no, I
Whatever.
totally thought he was
I
done
mean, there
for,
was a
and then he
shit ton
shows
of
up in the last
displacement on that
episode.
water.
Who
It takes a
says
lot
it
of
held
force to move that much water.
Because Zenigata sees him in like the crazy park place in the amusement park.
We can just assume that the owls saved him.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that little plot hole, I really love that.
Oh yeah. I actually rewatching this. I think Oscar is my favorite part. I think Oscar has
Okay,
an incredible arc
So
and incredible
leading up,
episodes.
okay, before that episode, before the bomb episode, I absolutely hated him.
Really?
And yeah, I'm like, no, fuck
Oh,
this
wow.
arc. I hate this. And
Oh,
then
wow.
he made. I basically decided, all right, if you choose to stop being an asshole and defuse, or at least try to defuse the bomb, then I will like you. And thankfully, he did.
I mean, I'm really a fan of what is it, episode 6 when he infiltrates the girls' school.
Yeah.
yeah.
That episode
was a good
so
episode.
good.
Because
Okay,
I had no idea until like he revealed it, and I was like, "Oh fuck, really?"
Yeah.
'Cause it didn't
Yeah.
really show at all. It just seemed perfectly normal. Like, oh, Fujiko's just doing some infiltration shit as usual, and then it's a surprise, it's a sting.
Oh, then he pours the wine on
Oh
Fujiko.
yeah.
Oh, that scene's so
Yeah.
good.
Uh,
That's one thing. The one thing that really put me off from watching all of this originally was Zenigata. In the original, he is a goofy old man. He is entertaining. He never gets anything done, and he's the slapstick guy. He's
Wait,
funny. Zenigata, the Oscar's boss, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Inspector.
The
Oh,
guy
okay.
Oscar's in love with.
Oh, okay.
But in the original series, in like part 2 and forwards, he's just a goofy old uncle. He even works together with Lupin sometimes. Like they're not on the worst terms. But in this series, he just sleeps
He
with
wants him
Fujiko. It's
fucking
like,
dead.
what? Well, yeah,
It's
he
true,
really
yeah.
wants to murder Lupin, which is
Yeah.
weird already.
Like he legitimately is after him instead of just being like this guy who just sort of hangs out with him every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to arrest Lupin in the original, but he doesn't want to murder him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People's lack of restraint for murdering people is pretty common in this series compared to the rest of Lupin, because like Jigen straight up kill like 10 people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fujiko doesn't care. Oscar cares a little, but not really.
Oscar kills that one guy.
Well, Oscar poses as Fujiko and kills the guy. That's what I was
Still,
talking.
Yeah.
he murders.
I don't think Lupin kills anyone in the series.
No,
I
Lupin
don't
straight up.
remember it.
I think Lupin just straight up says in the first episode, killing. Like he doesn't like killing. He just says that immediately.
And it's
Yeah.
the same with Goemon. Goemon doesn't kill anyone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love how Lupin is just this like cartoon of a man, but he's
Yeah.
still like not a dumbass. He's really smart when he applies himself.
That's one of the things I really like about this and what in the season that came directly after it, part 4, is that it shows Lupin as this really, really competent thief. He's really good at what he does, but he has a lot of fun while doing it.
Yeah.
He has this really great
Yeah.
conversation with Jigen when they're in the pyramid, and he says, when Jigen's like questioning his life decisions and being like, if I don't want to be a hitman, should I just die? And Lupin's just like, why don't you just try to have fun with your life, you know? And I
Yeah.
just think that's such an interesting look into his philosophy of like, I don't care as long as people don't die because that's not fun, and as long as I get money because that's fun.
Yeah. He just steals things because it's fun, as opposed to I'm getting.
It's a game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
One thing-
he's
Oh, sorry.
Go-
This is
go
unrelated.
ahead.
No, it's unrelated.
go
You
ahead.
can- All right. There's just one thing I had to mention is connecting this to Pacific Rim, the robot, or not the robot, like fuck the girl at the end.
Oh, yeah,
When
that
she's
little-
using like robot speak,
Oh, Aisha.
in the dub sounds exactly like GLaDOS.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah,
Nice.
it's just a like normal robotic voice, and
No,
Yeah.
no, it really sounds like it's trying to be GLaDOS.
that's great.
Yeah, then the plot took some real turns. I was not expecting it to go that direction by the end.
Episode 12 to episode 13 is the biggest like WTF in the entire series.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like
yeah.
you get to the end of episode 12 and you're like, oh my god, is like Fujiko gonna kill herself or something? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what's going on? And then you get to episode 13 and you're like, okay, that's better.
Well, there's like a moment where I was just like, wait, is there like 18 Fujiko Mines?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or I was like, oh, has Fujiko's entire life just been like a construct, and it's just like none of it's ever been real.
And then,
And
no,
then
it
it's
turns
like,
out
oh,
her
no,
life was
she was
real even
always
before
Fujiko.
this.
And then you get to the end, and it's like, oh no, she was always Fujiko. This was all just BS.
Yeah, they like do like 3 reveals after each other. It's like one person's like, "This is how it really happened," and then the next person in the room is like, "No, no, 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 no. This is how it happened." And then
Yeah.
Fujiko's like, "Guys, this is how it happened."
Yeah. That's the only problem I have with the last episode is that it's pretty much just people talking in flashbacks.
No, I
Yeah.
think it's always worth it.
No, it's good. It's great. It's mostly just people talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a series that sold based on its action. It's just talking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of the action, I think for the most part the guns were accurate except
Oh, really?
for when they aren't. There's like a few moments
Well, I mean, don't
where
they
it's
straight
just
up
like
say, like, at one
that
point,
person
Lupin's
didn't
like,
reload.
In the
Ever.
pyramid, they count ammo.
Yeah, they do that. There's
Yeah,
a
at
part
one
where she's
point,
chasing him down in the cable car with the Mac 11 or the Mac 10,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, you never reloaded.
Yeah.
Just have infinite ammo on that thing.
It's out of frame. Don't
yeah,
worry about it.
sure.
Yeah, no, I remember one scene where Lupin just straight up says to Jigen, like, I don't know, I've never heard a Magnum fire 7 shots.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
Jigen
and then he
responds,
responds. He's like, yeah,
I've never seen a Walther fire however many.
10
10
or more
okay.
than 10 or something like that.
It's
I don't know how
great,
many.
like, they're just bullshitting their ammo. It's so good.
Oh man. One thing that's interesting is that this series does actually try to place itself as an origin story for the gang.
Yeah, I like
Because
that too, how it's like, it's both, here's like how Fujiko and Lupin first met, but here's also how Lupin first met like all of his
Yeah.
partners.
yeah,
Well, it's like how
and,
everybody met each other, because I'm pretty sure by the end of it, everybody's met each other.
More or less
Yeah.
together.
I don't
But-
think that Goemon met Zenigata.
yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I don't think
But-
even Lupin saw Goemon, like only Goemon, Fujiko, and then he meets Jigen in like the last episode.
Yeah.
Did Goemon
They're,
really
like,
not see
fighting.
Lupin?
What?
No, I don't think. No, I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
he
think they
never
did.
encounters Lupin at all.
I'm trying
Like
to think of what.
no, they briefly cross paths when they're in like France,
I think they might have
but they
met.
don't actually talk to each other. They're just in the same place. They both go to the same like little market.
I think they
Oh,
just
yeah,
met
I know what you're talking
before
about.
But they
before
don't actually
Jigen
talk to each other.
fights him.
Oh yeah, before Jigen duels with
Yeah,
Goemon.
like right before the drug hits them, and they're like, "Oh, you're an owl," and they're like, "No, you're an owl."
Yeah, but,
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
but Goemon's cross-dressing, so he doesn't know.
Oh yeah, true.
What else?
Oh, I wanted to ask: is this like the events of this series canon to like the Part 4 and Part 5 series?
For what we know right now, it isn't.
Okay.
Because the thing I was going to go on and say, there are actually 2 sequel movies that this series got.
Oh.
It had the one it's called Jigen Daisuke's Gravestone, and then there's the Blood Spray of Ishikawa Goemon, obviously focusing on Jigen and Goemon. And Jigen's special actually ends with the beginning of one of the first Lupin movies, The Secret of Mamo.
Holy shit.
So technically, this is canon with Secret of Mamo, and we don't know if Secret Mamo is canon to like Part 4. So
it's like
Do the other
there's
movies-
some there's like deep ties to earlier stuff, but also we're not sure if it's all canon or not.
yeah, basically. Well, there have been like 5 origin stories of the Lupin gang. There's an entire movie called First Contact that's it tries to do the same thing, but who knows?
Timeline shenanigans. It's like Zelda.
Because in the first episode of Lupin the Third, the original, the 70s anime, Jigen, Lupin, and Fujiko all know each other, but no one else. Like, no, they don't know Zenigata, they don't know Goemon. Goemon has his own episode, so they meet him.
I just wanted to know, do the other movies or any of the other movies have like a similar art style to this? Because I really like this art style of the
It was
charcoal
very good art
painting.
style.
Kinda look.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention. Do you know where all the staff from this anime came from?
I'm
Where?
gonna go. I'm just gonna take a guess and say Gainax.
It's all Red Line.
What? Oh, it's all
the same
Red
guys as
Line?
Red Line?
It's
Oh,
all
shit.
people who started in Red Line.
Oh my god.
Yes.
They
Basically,
deserve it. I mean,
almost
damn,
all
yeah.
that was
people-
That explains a thing or two.
It
for
explains a
those
lot.
of who don't know. We all saw Red Line together, and it is the only thing that we have. It's one of the few things that we have decided deserves a 10 out of 10. Perfect,
Yeah,
flawless
perfection.
masterpiece level.
it might as well be one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's
Like,
so good.
There's not a single problem with it. It's just fantastic.
If you don't know what it is, it's the best I can describe it is Death Race 2000, but good, and elements of Star Wars and anime. I don't know how to explain it. It's insane.
What a fucking thing to just describe something with elements of Star Wars.
It's like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's amazing.
Space robot Nazis, kaiju,
Fast and the Furious.
Initial,
But the original ones, the old ones when it was actually street racing.
and also it's a love story.
A little
good.
bit.
A little, yeah, sure, a
Oh
little
yeah, I
bit.
guess.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
something in it
anyway.
for
There's a
everybody.
kaiju.
yes, the kaiju.
There's some corruption plot. A little bit.
There's so
Okay.
much happening, but it all works.
It all comes together in the most glorious way possible.
Anyway,
Also,
more
the
on
art style is fantastic.
It's basically the same as the anime we're discussing because it has a lot of the same directing
Yeah.
Yeah.
animation team. But anyway, more on the staff. One of the directors, who is a woman, I don't remember her name right now. I'm sorry. She also directed the series called Michiko Tohachin,
I've
which
seen
is
some
about,
stuff of that.
it's about a criminal woman exploring South America, which is very, fairly similar to this because
Yeah.
it's Fujiko. And also, did you see who the music director was?
No.
Shinichiro Watanabe, known for
Oh,
Cowboy Bebop,
yeah.
Space Dandy, Samurai Champloo, Zankyo no
Holy shit.
Terror,
Yeah.
those, Michiko Tohachin as well.
Wow.
So that's why
Loaded
it's so
staff
good.
here.
Yeah,
That
damn.
explains a lot, man.
The staff, that's what amazes me, that Lupin the Third is so not very well known, because Miyazaki was at the beginning, and now we have Watanabe in this one, and like,
This,
why
this sounds
hasn't
like the
everyone
movie
watched it?
that just. I mean, this sounds like the show that got made because everybody involved just wanted to make it.
Yeah, it sounds like a passion project,
Yeah.
So that was Redline. It was made entirely by the dude that wanted to make it.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yes.
He didn't care about it for the money. He's just like, I want this to exist. So I'm gonna get the most talented people I can find to make it.
It's so good.
So great.
God.
So is that all we gotta kind of want to say, or?
I think I had something else to say, but it's gone.
I meant to take notes, and then I started taking notes on like the last session of watching, and all I got was that the one person sounded like GLaDOS.
At the very end of the last episode.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
basically where I started taking notes.
I
Oh,
just
man.
I just wrote down what each episode was about in case you want a reminder on anything.
That was very good. I'm very glad you showed
Yeah,
that to us.
based on that show,
I'm really glad you
I
guys
would watch
enjoyed it.
more of the series.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would go and watch the original, the 70s. Well, watch the sequels if you really enjoyed it, because Jigen Daisuke's Gravestone is incredible. I get that a 9 out of 10 for sure. The Blood Spray of Ishikawa Goemon has not had an English release yet, so there's not a dub, there's no good subtitles anywhere, so I'm sorry. I want to
Damn.
watch it too. Really bad.
Damn, I can't see the movie that's all about my favorite.
Yeah. If you end up liking it, try part 4. Part 4 is a little more humorous. It's a little more classic Lupin, like part 2. Part 2 is the golden era of Lupin. But part 1 is very similar to this. Watch some of the old specials like Secret of Mamo, because they literally reference it.
I imagine watch Castle of Cagliostro because that's
yeah.
the one everybody hypes about because that's Miyazaki in full effect.
That's basically Ghibli 0.
Ghibli .1.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to
beginning.
applaud this show for is having more than one gun sound effect. Go fuck yourself, Black Lagoon, with your singular one that's stolen directly from Counter-Strike's stock sound effects.
Oh man,
I'm very mad about this.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't notice that at all.
God, Black Lagoon, if you listen to all the guns, they all sound the same, and it's the same gun sound effect that they use in like all the title cards and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Oh my god. Because I noticed that because like Jigen and Lupin's guns sound different when they fire.
Yeah, I thought they weren't stock for a minute, but then I realized that some swoosh sound effects later on were some pretty commonly used stock sounds, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to complain about that too much because it wasn't like... At least they weren't using the Half-Life 2 sound library, because like I hear that a lot in anime. Like I think that was in JoJo even.
Really?
Yeah, there's
What?
like some
Oh,
good
yeah.
crunch sound effects that I've definitely heard before in Half-Life 2 that
David
are in
Productions
JoJo.
likes to cut corners.
I mean, it's not
You
that
have to
they're
do what you
stealing
can
from
to save
Half-Life.
money.
It's just they're stealing from the same stock sound effects.
Oh
or
yeah.
buying the
Oh
same
yeah, that's
stock sound
common.
effects.
Anime operates on a tight budget. You gotta save money.
Yeah.
So
Also time frame stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have one last thing. What did you guys think about the opening and ending of the anime?
I
thought
like.
songs.
The
I mean, I got
opening
hyped
song.
Yeah, I don't call the opening song a song. It's an opening dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of skip the opening dialogue every time. Also, a lot of titty.
Titties.
The thing I have to say about the opening is that in episode 12, at the end of episode 12, they play an instrumental of the opening over the scene where Fujiko's walking up the stairs.
I
to
think
the-
I remember
I think I
this.
noticed that.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
and
And
that,
I
like,
noticed, and I got kind of hyped when they played the opening, like in the second to last episode. It started playing.
Playing the opening near the end of your show is just overpowered,
best.
and I love it.
it's so hype.
The most hype I could think of is when in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, during the final fight scene, they play the first opening, not the second not the opening for that part.
Oh,
They
yeah,
play
that's
the
right.
first part's opening,
starts playing.
and it's
I forgot about that.
amazing.
JoJo's
so
pretty
good.
good at hype stuff.
Because that's the one with the Joe.
Yeah.
And like by that point, it's been like I haven't heard this song in a while, so
Yeah.
super exciting.
How did you guys feel about the ending song?
I thought it was some pretty sick jazz.
Jazz.
Honestly, probably one of my favorite songs to ever come out of anime. It's called Duty Friend. I recommend you look up the whole thing. It's so good. So good. If that's everything we have to say, why don't we give our ratings? I forgot to do that for Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't think of a rating. I don't really do ratings with movies. I gotta
I
kind
haven't
of
thought
think
of my movie rating. Are we doing it out of 10 or out of 5?
Any you want. I do 10.
Any rating system?
You can do a percentage. You can do an out of
Stars.
200. I don't
Can
care.
I be like Pro Sharon and just do an allegory
yeah.
rating system?
As long as you explain it.
I give this a Christmas tree out of 5.
Because it's
Wait,
pretty.
that
Doesn't
actually-
do much.
What?
Nothing. I give it
No.
a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good.
I'd say 7.5 out of 10 because it wasn't amazing but pretty good, but also a lot of fan service of stuff that I like.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
I gotta go with 8. That's
It's
about
very
right.
close
I
to
know
an
there's
8.
problems. I know there's problems, but just overall, there's so much good about it.
Yeah.
You just cannot. It's just so great. I love
If
that
there
movie
wasn't a
so
terrible sequel,
much. Dude,
maybe if I
God,
saw
I'm
the
pissed
terrible
about it.
sequel, I'd call this one an 8.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
me too.
pissed about Rising Man.
Hey, at least you
What
can
are
just go
our
back and
ratings,
watch the
guys?
first one.
Maybe you guys should watch it to understand my pain.
Okay. Well, let's
Good
not
thing you're
watch
not
it
choosing the
on-
movie this
Boyega
week.
is in it, but that's like it.
All right. What are our ratings for the anime?
Oh man, I gotta. That's 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for me
Yeah.
for sure.
9.
If not
yeah.
10. Like it's the closest thing to a complete show that I think I could give like to a 10 out of 10.
Oh, definitely.
Except-
And if you watch
yeah.
the sequel movies, you'll be like, yeah, this is complete. They did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
definitely 9.
The only
And
reason
I
wouldn't
have
give
never
it-
even watched the series before, so
Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to. That's a really great thing about it. It's just this nice crime drama thriller. It's super
Yeah.
good. It hits every genre. So yeah, I'm really fond of it.
yeah.
Glad you guys
Yep.
liked it so much.
So, are we doing our
Time
big
for
reveal?
you
Our-
two gentlemen to reveal what you have in store.
It's not a
I,
recommendation. It's more of the gun point to the head.
Oh yeah, we have to,
Exactly. That's the
You
thing.
have to watch it.
this is our
Yes.
showdown.
You have to make us watch it.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
Oh, we could call this
I
down.
don't
We
have
could
any.
call this section the showdown.
The showdown.
This is
Showdown.
time for the showdown.
Well, since I picked Pacific Rim for this episode, I have no bullets in the chamber. You guys have to shoot.
Is this how it works? I don't think. We'll have to
It's
flesh this idea out
time.
later.
All right. I will give my recommendation first. I will load my bullet. I pick.
Okay.
I really
Alright.
hope you guys haven't seen this, but if you have, please let me know. Saturday Night Fever, 1977, John Travolta.
I have not seen that movie.
Haven't seen it.
Fantastic. I was really hoping you hadn't, because like it's a big movie. A lot of people know it, but it's like, disco era, so a lot
Yeah.
of people forget
Well,
about
it,
it.
heard
it
of it, but I
defined
haven't
the
seen it.
disco era, didn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
All the dances you see that
That's
are
where you get
disco
the pointing up and then pointing down move, right?
that's John Travolta.
Yep.
He invented it.
I have not seen this movie either. I love disco, so I'm really excited to see it.
I did not know
Okay.
that about you.
Oh, I love disco. Yeah, give me some
I
Bee
love
Gees,
it when
man.
you guys like reveal new aspects of like stuff you like. It's just like another layer to your personality. It's so great.
It's our
Which is
character
like,
arc.
oh, Max just has this great love for like Call of Duty and Doom and
Dude, I
stuff.
fucking love Call of Duty. The good ones.
just
a good one.
peel back the layer a little bit and you reveal something brand new.
You
Great.
reveal how hollow I truly am.
We are all onions on this blessed day.
Peel back and there's just a bunch of fucking bugs.
It's just rotted.
Alright, I guess it's time for my show reveal.
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
What you got?
This is a anime OVA, well, not like an OVA, like more like an ONA, in a series I have never seen before. I have not seen this before, but I've told it's a good jumping in point. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt.
Ooh!
Gundam.
Yeah,
Gundam.
it's
I was
a-
actually thinking about doing a Gundam earlier for my anime for next time, but I've kind of switched it because I didn't want to just be like, "Hey, here's just mecha. Mitch is the mecha and kaiju guy." I
So
don't
the
want
plot
to
is-
totally. I mean, it's kind of my gimmick, but I don't want to fall entirely into it.
So the plot on Wikipedia says the series takes place concurrently with the Mobile Suit Gundam during the 1-year war, which is like a big thing in the Gundam universe. The Earth Federation's More Brotherhood and the Principality Zeon's Living Dead division engage in fierce battle with the Thunderbolt in the Thunderbolt section. So that's cool.
I've heard about
It
this
takes
a
place in
little
like
bit.
a like the kind of like dead space area, like just a bunch of like dead debris and stuff everywhere. So
And like
Sounds pretty
storms and stuff.
yeah,
And from what I hear, it's like good jazz soundtrack.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
jazz. You like
Yeah.
jazz?
And isn't it like, oh, it's only a few episodes? It's like,
yeah.
what,
There's only
8
8 episodes.
that's
episodes.
pretty
okay.
good.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
I'm giving you something easy this time,
Nice.
because I wanted to watch this.
Okay,
Alright.
that's what we need. I mean, you have to understand, I'm not the biggest mecha fan, but I can appreciate good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Max and I have actually talked before, like, oh, we gotta watch some Gundam.
Yeah, like
So, here we go.
I've been meaning to watch Gundam for a while. I've built a Gundam before. It wasn't mine. It was for a friend. But yeah,
You have the experience.
I need to understand what the things that look cool are.
It
Yeah,
looks cool, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I know basically nothing about Gundam, so I'm pretty excited.
It's about war.
Yeah, so if Neon Genesis Evangelion is about robots versus kaijus, this is about robots versus robots.
So most mecha anime.
Yeah, well, so basically, instead of having the universe where an alien force decided to fuck with people were just shitty anyways and
As
killed
you
each
do.
other.
As you do.
It's the people of Earth versus like the people in the space colonies who have formed to fight
Did you
the
mean
Earth,
Call
basically.
of Duty Infinite Warfare? Oh, that was bad.
Shut up. Well,
I didn't even
Call of
play
Duty.
Infinite Warfare.
We need a tally every time you make a Call of Duty reference.
Just the Max's Call
The
of Duty
board would
counter.
fall over immediately. You need a counter, like in a Pacific Rim, days since last Call of Duty reference, except it's listed as seconds.
It's just seconds, nothing else.
Minutes
It's always
since
at
Max
0.
has said Call of Duty. It's
I
at
take
0
off my
all
mask.
the
I was
time.
Jonathan Call of Duty the whole time.
Jonathan Duty.
I was David Vandahar the whole time. You won't get that.
Just like the counter, it's just days since Call of Duty reference, and it's just at 0 all the time.
It's 0 painted on a board.
It's
Just
been
dries,
scratched
just
in with a knife.
permanent marker. Just 0.
And
Oh
with
my gosh.
that,
So, yeah.
I
we-
think it is time to say our goodbyes.
So
Alrighty.
this is our standoff.
This is it. We did it. We got that's an episode in the books.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been Max. That's been Mitch, and that's been Connor.
Yes,
Yep.
that's me. I'm Connor.
I'm Mitch. That's my name.
Is it?
Well, no, it's short for Mitchell, but you know.
Do you know Max is short for Maxel?
Max Few.
Maxathin. Max is short for Maxifer.
Christopher.
Yeah, like Jennifer.
I
Men
was
is
thinking
short for
Christopher.
Menifer. What?
This
All right.
is the note we end our big
We
debut
like to have
episode
fun
on.
here.
Let's put down our guns. We're done. We're heading
All
home.
right. Bang.
Yeehaw.
All right. Signing off. How do I stop this?
See you.